Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Squid. How is everybody doing on this Monday morning? It is quite busy. I've been running all over the place this morning. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to have to take a pause because my laundry has like 5 minutes left on it in the washer. And the faster I can get that done, the faster I can get it folded and put away. Good morning, Flash fan. How are you doing? Please like and sub and share. This is an awesome community. Yes, it is. I do have to hop on my soapbox this morning, so we are going to have a little heart-to-heart. So, we are going to have a moment. It needs to be said. Alley Cat, good morning. Kathy, how are you? Tammy, good morning, my friend. And speaking of that, hopping on my soapbox for everybody's favorite. Ooh, Captain Kern. Yeah, doing okay. Another news pope is dead. I'm not. The man was like, what, 88? Like, I'm not. This pope I was not a particularly big fan of. Because not that I'm a, as Mo would put it, recovering Catholic. However, there are some things that just Catholicism and that Pope did not jive very well. Anyway, Janet, Roy, and I'm sorry, anybody I missed, Yvonne, how are you? So we gonna have a little heart-to-heart this morning. So we're gonna start our day off with everybody's favorite segment, our hater of the week on a Monday morning. And this is our hater of the week for this week. Oh, and I changed my design and my overlay, and I'm like regretting it. Oh, damn it. And I'm sorry. I changed some things last night, but I did it for my iPad or for my laptop while sitting at the edge of the little's bed. So it's a thing. No Flash fan. There's no Flash fan. There's no you're good. Nobody's in trouble. However, we are going to get started with this hater of the week because I have to laugh at this. For one, she's kicked out of the Tammy Club. She's on the same Tammy level as my mother-in-law. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I always round my mother-in-law up with this one story. Describe her in a few words. She told my sister-in-law, my Mr. Squid's brother's wife, she called her a female cat, a cat part, female part. And then when she was supposed to be apologizing, said, quote, and this quote will never leave my mind, "I'm sorry, it's not your fault. That's just the way God made you." That is my mother-in-law. So this Tammy can go to the mother-in-law side of the world. Someone said that I was streaming. I don't know who the original commenter was. James. Of course she will. She can't stop grifting off What the Hales, even though she doesn't like him. I bet she even uses his name or logo on her thumbnail. If you don't like who I use in my thumbnail as a picture, sue me. See how well that's going for Lynette. Just saying. And James, the person who put it out there, was like, as far as I know, Squid doesn't dislike Jeremy. D. Walker, she can put whatever the heck she wants on her thumbnail. Who are you to tell her she can't? Tammy again. And then she can put her thumbnail and title Hales v. Preston instead of What the Hales. She can cover the case without using the channel name. I can call it whatever the flying fuck that I want. And someone was like, she isn't taking advantage of Jeremy. She may be critical of how Jeremy and Randy present things, especially when they stoop down to BM with a P in the middle level. I like Squid's coverage. She's fairly neutral. She doesn't care about him one way or the other. She's only covering the case because Bubbles threatened her. Therefore, she should not be using What the Hales in her logo or thumbnail. She's only doing it to get clicks and views and it was cut off. So for one, I can cover whatever the flying fuck I want on my channel. And who is this bitch to tell me I can't? This is no lady, if you know what I mean. So if you see that Tammy, that's that Tammy. Yeah, she's no lady that she claims to be. However, I'm only covering it on my channel because Bruce threatened me and I like to piss him off. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't watching other people's channels who watched it. I just wasn't covering it on mine. People asked me to, and I said no, because I don't have stake in the game either way. But pissing off Bruce is my stake in the game. So this, to all my other haters who are on the other side of the fence, who say that I'm a Jeremy simp and whatever, this is what some, not all, of the Hales people think of me and how I cover the case. So if I'm pissing off both sides, I'm doing my job. I'm not, but Papa Squid, this is mother-in-law level. And you've met my mother-in-law, you know. The narcissism is real with that bitch. I'm telling you. There's a reason that we haven't spoken to her in over a year. And her own son has her phone number blocked. I don't have her blocked. Her son has her phone number blocked. Her son, and I quote, wants to eliminate her from baby Squid's memory. This bitch had a first birthday party for my daughter and didn't invite her parents. Had to be reminded that she's not baby Squid's mother. So when I say it's a mother-in-law Tammy, that's what I mean. So we're going to, and some of y'all need to stop living in an all or nothing world. My dad taught me a long time ago that nothing is black and white. And he used to get pissed off at me when I used to use generalities or all or nothings. So when people use generalities or all or nothings, like everything in this world is black and white, nothing in this world is black and white. So it literally said she doesn't dislike Jeremy. I've said that Jeremy and I aren't friends. Well, guess what? Here's the fucking definition of friends. What's the difference between friends and acquaintances? People often distinguish between an acquaintance and a friend, holding that the former should be used primarily to refer to someone with whom one is not especially close. Many of the earliest uses of acquaintance were in fact in reference to a person with whom one was very close, but the world is now generally reserved for those who are known only slightly. I'm going to use this example. You can like somebody and think they're a fine person and not be friends with them. Think this, the cashier at the grocery store that you see every week when you go and do your groceries because you are consistent and you do your grocery shopping like a boomer at the same time every week. You like that person. You think that person is a nice person. You ask them how their day was. But they ain't on your fucking Christmas card list. They ain't your friend. You are acquaintances at best. Just because I do not like the way somebody acts doesn't mean I hate them as a person. Just because I say I'm not friends with somebody does not mean I hate them. It's not a one or the other. There's this giant gray area in the fucking middle, and y'all might want to get there. Because this is the problem with that case, is everybody is all or nothing. I live in the fucking gray area. The world lives in the fucking gray area. The teller at the bank, who I see all the time. Do I like her? Yes. Do I think she's a good person? Yes. Are we going to go out and have a beer at a bar on a Friday night? Probably not. Do I talk to Jeremy? When is the last time I actually spoke to Jeremy? He was on my channel for 3 minutes. I had 3 questions to him after the December 19th. And 2 of my questions, if I recall correctly, were about the judge, not about Jeremy. I don't hate him. We're just not friends, and that's fine. You can't be friends with everybody in the world. Do I talk to him about how his day was? Does he ask me how mine was? No. Do we chat off of YouTube? Do we talk about anything else besides YouTube? No. Have I talked to him in 3 months? No. Just because you like somebody on YouTube does not make them your friend. Stop thinking that you have this fucking relationship with people that you do not have. Some YouTubers, especially the big ones that have 700,000 fans, just because they acknowledge you in a chat and they like you and they don't hate you, does not make them your fucking friend. We are not, yes, I don't even know him. Yes, exactly. Like, I don't know him. There is this gray area. Do I have any ill will for the man? Hell no. Like, yeah, only YouTube people I can't stand are MLS and Bubbles. And even MLS, I have no ill will for. I just, when someone shares my DMs, like, I have that person no longer, I can never trust that person again. So it's easier just to exit stage left. We don't live in a black and white world. Like, my neighbor to the behind me, when I see him out cutting his grass, I wave, I say hi, I ask him how he is. Are we friends? No. That's okay. Just because we aren't friends doesn't mean I hate the man. Yes, exactly. You can be friendly with people and just be an acquaintance. Like, that irked me. Like, her talking crap about me, I really don't care about. But it's what I mean when I say stop living in a black or white world just because it's one. And people in this case, that case specifically, have taken way too many things personally. Way too many things personally. This case has nothing to do with you personally. Do you live in Otter Creek, Florida? No. Are you a party in this lawsuit? No. Stop taking shit so personally. God damn it, you people are weird. Am I friends with some people on YouTube? Yes. Am I friends with some people? Yes. Am I friends with Captain Kern? Yes. Captain Kern knows me. I know Captain Kern. We've had conversations that have absolutely nothing to do with YouTube. Like, Flash Fan. Am I friends with Flash Fan? I would say yes, because we have had conversations that have nothing to do with YouTube. Do we talk off of YouTube? Certain other people. I have technically, see, that's the thing. Technically, yes, but technically no, because you're my father. So, like, that's a different kind of relationship. I would say after the age of 30, yes. But before the age of 30, when I'm still growing up, no. Squid puts up with me, y'all. You're like my little brother. I love you. And like, there are people who I talk to off of YouTube. There are people who ask me how my day was. I ask them how their day was. They tell me how their work day was. That is more of a friend. Even though I don't personally know them and I've never met them in person, that is more of a friend than me and Jeremy. And I'm sure if you ask Jeremy, it'll be the same thing. He holds no ill will towards me, but we're not friends. We don't talk. I have not spoken to the man. I've spoken to him, actually spoken to him once. I've emailed him twice, but that was last year. Last year. So we just have to we just had to get that out of the way. Like, we just had to get that out of the way, because this is my problem. This is a great representation of this is a great representation of what I mean when I say stop taking shit so personally. And I guarantee you that person ain't friends with Jeremy either. She thinks she has a relationship with Jeremy, but she doesn't. Yeah, I would say no. Do I hate the man? No. However, he's one of those people that fascinates me. Like the judge in that case fascinates me. Speaking of judges, we do have a topic that we will get to later this week. There is a New Mexico judge. I believe it's New Mexico, that resigned after ICE raided his house and found an illegal immigrant in his house. I have to do more research on it before we talk about it, but like, that is accountability that we need to get to. Yeah, not my monkeys, not my circus. I'm definitely interested in the case for a great many reasons. Do I hope and pray for a certain outcome? Yes. Have I met a lot of the great people in chat? Yes. Like it's not my monkey, not my circus. It's like it's not my monkey, not my circus. I saw it this morning. I saw a headline this morning. I read half of the article before the little one got up and started running around like a chicken with her head cut off. And we will investigate it before we just say it, because I want to do a little bit of like when he was appointed, who he is, some of the cases that he's worked on, stuff like that, because I'm all for judicial accountability. All right, I am going to go switch over my laundry because I hear that my washer stopped. Everybody get a drink, take a shot, depending on where you are in the world, and we will take a pregnant pause. Sounds like Judge Bev. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. And there's reasons why I'm not covering the Karen Reed case. And one of them is it makes me so, it's one of those that like you can't not get upset with. And I just can't keep my mouth shut. So that's one of the reasons that I'm not covering that case. Plus there are so many good streamers that are covering the case that I feel like I have nothing else to offer because I don't know enough about it to, there's well, that's not important right now, but like there's some things that there's some things that I'm like, we agree to disagree on some of those, but we know that. Yeah, and it's 10 weeks long, and there's a lot that happens in 10 weeks, and ain't none of that I got time for. All right, so we are going to play a little intermission video, and I will be back in about 2 minutes once I switch over the laundry, because mom life doesn't stop for YouTube.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The glass so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Hey guys. All right, that was the fastest I've ever switched over laundry in my entire life. Judge Bev, possibly the second most biased judge I've ever seen. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I just can't. Like, I can't watch the live coverage because I want to object. Why hasn't this case been moved? Yeah, that's another million question. That's a rabbit hole that we can go down this morning that ain't nobody got the time for. So getting to the actual topic. Nikita Casap, the Waukesha County, this county I was born in, the Waukesha County teen accused of unaliving his parents. However, what might have been a simple, not that life is ever simple. However, not that life is ever simple, but a simple case of one defendant, two victims seems like a relatively open and shut case. All of a sudden, it got a lot more serious. When I say a lot more serious, I literally mean a lot more serious. We are going to read through the affidavit. We are going to read through the affidavit where he is accused, and they show evidence of him wanting to overthrow the government, assassinate the head of our government, and then flee to Ukraine. I don't know. Yeah. So what turned into another case of a teen accused of unaliving their parents. And I'm kind of fascinated by that because, having a child, and this fascinates me, but this just got a whole lot deeper. And now that this case has gotten so much attention, there is a very good chance that it will be streamed and I will be covering it. Patrick, thank you for the $5 super chat. Go do laundry, go do laundry, go do laundry. Motivation. Like it's good in her 1950s wife cosplay. No, but I do have as a stay-at-home mom, I do have certain responsibilities that he makes the majority of the money, so I do the majority of the housework. It's kind of fair. Not to say that he doesn't do anything. He cleaned the kitchen yesterday. I believe so. I believe he and his mom immigrated from somewhere when he was very young. And she married the other person he is accused of unaliving, his stepdad. He's due to enter a plea on May 7th. So, yes, I did. Oh, yes, Jeff, thank you so much. I will show you a picture. Let's see. I did take a picture of it because I liked it so much. It was originally going to go in the bedroom, and it was just perfect for the living room. So we will just show a quick picture of my living room before we get started. There we go. There is the rug. And it is perfect. It is perfect. It is perfect. Perfect. The furniture doesn't move now. It takes away some of the echo in the living room. It's great. We still got to get stuff for the wall and stuff like that. But there's those curtains. Those nice tall curtains. So that's my living room. Welcome to my house. Hope everybody enjoys it. So, and another thing, y'all, with documents, in order to protect my channel, I put my face in the corner here because I know that there are channels who are being screen recorded or screenshot, and I'm not going to call anybody out because you do you. But since a lot of the documents, including this one, because this was federal court, I pay for it. It's one of those things of I have to protect my channel. So I'm sorry if it makes people angry. However, unless you have some in the living room, your other cup is in the living room, but you can have mine. Just don't drop it. Squid got that $1 million mansion. Not exactly. Very modest, 1,500 square feet. Here's to no rabbit holes or train derailments. Good luck. All right, let's get to this. But I cover part of the document for my face so that if it's screenshot, you can obviously tell that it came from somebody else's channel. That is why I apologize if that makes you mad. But I have to protect my channel. All right, last time we got to the agent background, introduction and agent background. I make this affidavit in support of an application for a search warrant for electronic devices described in Attachment A, received from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office for the things described in Attachment B. I'm a special agent with the FBI and have been since May of 2019. I've also been Special Agent Bomb Tech since February of 2021. I'm currently assigned to the Joint Terrorism Task Force in Milwaukee, where I investigate violations of federal law. I have investigated and assisted in the investigation of matters involving violations of federal law related to domestic and international terrorism, weapons of mass destruction, including the service of search and arrest warrants. Prior to my employment with the FBI, I served in the U.S. Navy for 6 years as an EOD tech and was employed as a contractor for the DoD as an EOD disposal or EOD subject matter expert for 6 additional years. The facts in this affidavit are known to me through my personal knowledge, training, experience, and through information provided to me by other law enforcement officers in the course of their duties, whom I consider to be truthful and reliable. This affidavit is intended to show there is sufficient probable cause for the requested warrant and does not set forth all my knowledge about this matter. Based on the facts set forth in this affidavit, there is probable cause to believe the following violations of federal law have been committed. Title 18 U.S. Code 371, conspiracy, makes it unlawful for 2 or more persons to conspire to commit any offense against the U.S. Yeah, that's the topic we're going to get to tomorrow. Title 18 U.S. Code 1751, C and D, presidential unaliving, makes it unlawful to attempt to unalive the president or vice president of the U.S. or for 2 or more persons to conspire to unalive the president or vice president of the United States. And that wasn't a thing until after Kennedy. That wasn't a crime until after Kennedy. There's a reason why Lee Harvey Oswald was in the custody of the Texas police and not federal, because at that time, assassinating a president was not a federal crime. Interesting, huh? The more you know. Title 18 U.S. Code 2332, use of weapons of mass destruction, makes it unlawful for any persons to use, threaten, or attempt or conspire to use a weapon of mass destruction against any persons within the United States utilizing interstate or foreign commerce. The term weapon of mass destruction is defined in 18 U.S. Code 2332 to include any destructive device as defined in 18 U.S. Code 921A4. There is probable cause to search the items described in Attachment A for evidence further described in Attachment B. He was unalived by Jack Ruby. Not long after the we're gonna get to that. It's a lot. There's a lot. This is 30 pages. Probable cause, February 28th at approximately 9:44, Donald Mayer's mother, JM, contacted the Waukesha County Communications Center to request a welfare check at a residence in Waukesha, Wisconsin. JM stated they were unable to contact the family and learned Nikita Casap had not attended high school for approximately 2 weeks. And I still wonder why it took 2 weeks. 2 weeks for this to be noticed. Additionally, the school resource officer for Waukesha West also requested a welfare check and advised that Casap had been absent for approximately 2 weeks. On February 28th, 2025, law enforcement officers from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office conducted a welfare check at approximately 10 a.m. on Nikita Casap, his mother, Tatiana, and his stepfather, Donald Mayer. The deputy was unable to make contact with the residents and received information from neighbors that they had not seen the family recently. The deputy contacted Mayer's work manager and received information that Mayer had not been to work since February 13th, but had communicated via text message from February 13th to 24th, 2025, claiming to be sick and unable to work. Interesting. to be fair, I think the family lives in a different state. Yes, but at the same time, like, my family lives in a different state, and I talk to them quite frequently, definitely more than every 2 weeks. Not all of them, but, you know, I talk to my father more than every 2 weeks, and he lives in a different state. So I'm just wondering why it took, like, what the family dynamic there is. On February 28th, at approximately 1:40, Waukesha County Sheriff's deputies entered the residence through the garage and found Nikita Casap deceased, likely from gunshot wounds and covered with blankets. A Waukesha County Sheriff's Office secured residence. They requested emergency cell phone pings from AT&T for Donald Mayer and Nikita Casap. AT&T provided information that both phones were located in the area of Laramie, Wyoming. A neighbor immediately to the west of the residence, PF, provided information to the sheriff's office that there had been little activity at the residence for 2 weeks. On February 23rd, PF observed Mayer's black SUV driving away from the residence. During a secondary search of the residence, Donald Mayer was located deceased from gunshot wounds in the first floor office and also covered in blankets. During the search, the receipt was found for a .357 Magnum revolver, but the firearm was not located in the residence. Sorry, the little one's right here singing and making noises. Based on information obtained by the sheriff's office during the course of their investigation, including security footage, cell phone records, and witness statements, Mayer and Tatiana are believed to have been killed on February 11th at approximately 6:30 p.m. and 8:40 p.m. respectively. The sheriff's office reviewed ping records, which showed that Casap's phone was stationary on February 24th between 2:20 and 2:50 at the world's largest truck stop located in Walcott, Iowa. The Walcott Police Department provided security footage of Casap operating Mayer's black Volkswagen Atlas SUV and was alone, traveling with their family dog. On February 28th, at approximately 10 p.m., Mayer's vehicle was listed as stolen, and Casap was entered into a missing juvenile in NCIC. At 11:25 p.m. that day, the Waukesha, Kansas Police Department conducted a traffic stop on Mayer's SUV. An unloaded .357 Magnum revolver was observed in plain view on the front passenger floorboard. Never keep it in plain view. Boxes of .357 Magnum and .38 special ammunition, Mayer's and Tatiana's wallets, a large amount of U.S. currency, and euros. 2 cell phones belonging to Mayer and Casap were found inside the vehicle. WPD ultimately arrested Nikita Casap for theft of a vehicle and possession of a firearm and seized his cell phone incident to his arrest. They say people who cover them with blankets means they have some type of remorse. Rubenstein may have had ties to government through another agency, according to released documents. Another conspiracy theory becoming true. No. Like it. This could go a lot of different ways and have ties to a lot of different things. And there are certain conspiracy theories that I am not an expert in, but certain people are. And I refer you to their channel to figure it. Yeah. What date did they say he killed his parents? February 13th. February 11th at approximately 6:30 and 8:40. So they are believed to be killed on February 11th, and this is February 28th. This is Moldova. Yeah, okay. Moldova, country between Russia or Romania and Ukraine. I knew it was some small country, but I could not remember the name of it, and I wasn't about to give inaccurate information because I couldn't remember. On March 3rd, 2025, Waukesha County Sheriffs obtained a search warrant for Casap's cell phone. During their review, The sheriff's office identified material on the phone related to the Order of 9 Angels. I'm assuming that's supposed to be angels. And this is another one of those, get your proofread. I know this is probably done in a hurry, and I know this was important, but I think that's supposed to be angels. And yeah, and there's a big difference between that, and especially this is something that I would tear apart if I was an attorney. That's why grammar and how you write things, sentence structure is so damn important. It's not spelled it's not spelled wrong. It's not spelled wrong, but it's pretty pronounced angels. Okay. That's another thing. Sorry, I have to return a message. All right. Footnote 1. Waukesha County Sheriff's Office reviewed the phone and identified possible usernames for Casap, including Accelerationist 14 and Awoken. Oh. Sorry, I have to write that down because that is a rabbit hole that we're not going to go down right now. But I would like to. That's a rabbit hole that is it. You just opened up a rabbit hole. Thank you, Tammy. Not to say those two are connected, but it's an interesting observation. And if I don't write it down, I'll forget it. Sorry, I'm a Ukrainian Canadian. My family crest from my dad's side of the family has the Ukrainian flag on it. So I'm not sure. There's a book somewhere that disappeared, and I could not find it among my grandfather's belongings. But I remember there's a book, and the first page is the family crest, and there's a Ukrainian flag on it too. So walks in the room, looks around, smiles, laughs, Flash fan, the nod, and then yeah, like Oh, I figured out Streamlabs a little bit. I'm figuring stuff out on my own, how to do certain things. I don't know if I'm doing it correctly, but I'm doing it. On March 4th, she figured out how to give a thumbs up. So she's kind of doing something over here where I was like, I just want to make sure she was okay and there was not a temper tantrum to follow. On March 4th, 2025, Waukesha County Sheriff executed a search warrant for Myers Volkswagen Atlas. During the search, the following items were located inside the vehicle: a Pride open safe, women's jewelry, electronics, including iPads, cell phones, and laptops, approximately $14,000, banking documents, hard drives and external storage devices, a Simply Safe home security sensor, and a YI security camera with a micro SD card. The Order of 9 Angels 09A is a network of individuals holding neo-Nazi racially motivated extremist views. Order of 9 Angels advocates for the use of violence and terrorism to overthrow governments and destroy modern civilization. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Like, I don't get a lot of time to just sit and play with things. Like, I'm sure if I had the time, I could figure it out a lot quicker. But my husband's family immigrated from Ukraine in 1894. First Ukrainians in Canada. Interesting. All right. Waukesha County Sheriffs reviewed Casap's phone and saw images and communications that referenced a self-described manifesto regarding the assassinating of a certain orange man, making boom booms, and a terrorist attack. And YouTube, for the overlords who are watching, I am reading something. This is not my opinion. I am reading a document from an FBI agent. So if y'all want to talk to the FBI about me, this is their document. During the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office review of Telegram messages between February 14th and 2025, messages in Russian were identified from phone notifications and translated, including reply to them all and say, you got sick, drag them to the basement, which one can infer drag who to the basement is, Waukesha County Sheriff's Office reviewed the security camera and micro SD card that were found in the Volkswagen Atlas and revealed footage from February 16th to 22nd, 2025, including Casap lighting what are believed to be scented candles and rummaging through a desk while near a mound of blankets and pillows covering Mayer's body. Interesting. Hey, King Paco. She's right over here. She's doing her own thing this morning. Ideology. On March 7th to March 8th, 2025, a preliminary review of the device image by the FBI for exigent threats revealed the following conversations. TikTok, December 6th through 8th of 2024. Okay. To whom it may concern, I'm reading from a court-appointed transcript, and my opinions and views do not conform to what is mentioned within the doc. Yes, I'm still getting used to like using it and remembering that I can use it for things, but yeah, it's working. I may not be using it to its greatest extent, but I am using it. It's half of it is remembering that I have it and that I have shortcuts for things that I don't have to search for. Awoken. It's kind of an interesting how I told this girl best friend about how I follow 09A teachings and whatnot, and she was pretty chill about it. I feel like most people would freak out. How about you? Does anyone in real life know you're into 09A, Charlie Manson? Mystic physics. Well, they know. My parents don't know, LOL. They would take away my phone if they did, especially since last year FBI visited. Footnote 2. LOL. Mystic physics, my parents know. Oh. Footnote 2. The FBI interviewed the Casap family in November of 2023 for unrelated internet IP activity. All members of the family denied the IP activity, and agents were allowed to view devices and internet history and found no corroboration of the alleged internet activity. Interesting. Awoken, are you over 18? Because I'm not. Thus, they still have control to take away stuff. Me neither. And your parents don't care? No. December 27th, TikTok. Nihilus. Hey, dude, do you know any Telegram group where Niners and Drex can interact and exchange info? Sorry, no, I'm mostly in NSWP, and some of this, I don't know what this means, so I don't follow extremist groups ever. Crew TG groups, LOL. If you do find any, it'd be nice if you tell me. Nihilus, what's WP? Awoken, National Socialism, white power. Oh, white power, cool. Who says that? Like, Awoken, do you know why 09A Telegram groups? Do you mean any 09A Telegram groups? Yeah, typo. Oh, not a group, but a channel. You can find documents there. Awoken, all right, send. Nyla sends it. Awoken, can you send me the link to the account? Awoken, it says I can't access the message. Nihilus, how can I do that? Wait a sec. Awoken, here's my TG username, accelerationist14. I sent the message. Yes. Like, ladies and gents, the following interactions are the words of the defendants and may offend. So please remember that this is a court document. Yes, this is an affidavit. First search warrant. Telegram, January 21st, 2025. Accelerationist. What country do you think will get the blame for this? Unknown. Russia will be blamed for it. This is the goal. When I say that, like, not to believe things you hear on TV or what's in the media, is because shit like this goes on. And how many of shit like this goes on that we don't hear about? Accelerationist. When the time comes for me to send my manifesto to you so that you can spread it online, should it be PDF? And also, you won't anyhow change or modify the manifesto. Unknown. Write on a piece of paper and I'll take a picture of it. Sorry, I got nothing. That one. FBI personnel performing the preliminary review also saw images of a 3-page document entitled Accelerate the Collapse. The images, which appear to be screen grabs of a document that was displayed on the phone, were created on February 28th of 2025. The document appears to be the manifesto referenced by Accelerationist in the messages with the unknown user in the above paragraph, calling for the political unaliving of the president in order to foment a political revolution in the United States and save the white race from Jewish-controlled politicians. Okay. So this goes back to the Yahtzee stuff and seeing Jews as a different race, even though skin color is the same. The third page of the document contained images of a certain man with an ugly mustache that is evil, and I am not reading that because I am not reading that because if you know, you know. Excerpts from the 3-page document include A, it is clear that Jews control all of the white countries, and it is clear that they promote white genocide and degeneracy. For the white race to survive, it would be necessary to accelerate the collapse of the countries. Jewish-occupied governments must fall. The white race cannot survive unless America collapses. You know who I would love to talk about this with? And I'm sure he knows very little about this case because he's got a lot of other things going on. Larry. I would love his perspective on this and this case as a whole. Because obviously, you know, you're used to, and that sucks. But I also think that people suck, not the government as a whole. I don't think it's institutionalized or, you know, but I do think that there are people in the world who suck. And I believe that we should point them out, laugh at them, make fun of them, and kick them out of any power position that they have. I believe those people should be ostracized from society while we all point and laugh at the stupidity of their arguments. As to why specifically Trump, I think it's obvious. By getting rid of the president and perhaps vice president, that is guaranteed to bring in some chaos. And not only that, but will further bring into the public the idea that political unalivings and accelerating the collapse are possible things to do. And Flash fan, that sucks. That sucks. That's when we all need to find those people, point and laugh, no matter what color they are. Because there's a TikToker that said, if any white person comes up to him, he's going to pokey them. And he used the words pokey. Those people need to be ostracized from society. I'm not a huge fan of cancel culture, but there are some people in this world that deserve to be canceled. Hold on. Here we go. You want to scoot up? Yeah. Okay, I'll scoot you up. Ooh. There you go. There you go. All right. Most of what I see, I learned. I can tell you that post World War II, most radical or Aryan groups have misunderstood and misinterpreted a lot of wording once. Yeah. Okay. You have water over there, baby. No. This, I know this one's empty, but you have a full one over there. No. However, yeah, not the place or time to discuss it. Angel, you have a full cup right there. Her cup right here is empty, but she literally has a full one right there. No. Angel. No. Angel. No. Okay, we're going to put this in here then. Out of sight, out of mind. No. Oh. Last night we had temper tantrums over the fact that our water cups fell over. Angel. Hey. Hey. Why are you mad? Like, yeah, Jeff, you should. Angel, it's okay. You want to get down? Yeah. Okay, get down. Get down. Yep, good job. Nice work. There you go. She wants to go back over by her water cup. You know. And I just whoa. My computer literally did a there we go. Ooh. Interesting. Now what if you say you aren't capable of committing these acts? This is perfectly fine for now. The next best thing you can do is to tribe and train. Make connections, join white conscious martial arts clubs. Because once America collapses, there will have to be a network that can take its place. This is so bizarre. So bizarre. Like, what the heck are these white conscious martial arts groups? Like, huh? I just, reading is also important. Read Siege, footnote 3 by James Mason, Militant Accelerationism, The Hard Reset, footnote 4 by Terragram, Redstone Killers, good source regarding sabotage, a call to arms, Juraj Krajic, The American Futurist, have a lot of really good articles. They're a former Atomwaffen guys, and there is sure much to learn from the success and mistakes of Atomwaffen. Some of this, you're like, why? Why would anybody? Maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's the way I was raised. Maybe I just don't understand, like, yeah, you aren't better than anybody else based on the color of your skin. Like, the color of your skin is melanin. It doesn't have anything to do with how your brain works. Like, oh my God, this shit like this is what makes me angry. Use Yandex to find boom boom making instructions in those books if you already know the reality of the situation, that there is no political solution, that I would just focus on reading practical material. And this right here is why we don't advocate for political violence, even the slightest, because someone's wearing a hat that you don't like. You think it's okay to, like, kick them out of class or, throw their hat in the road. Because that, if that is acceptable, if that is acceptable, then anything is acceptable. And it seems like some small little thing, but small little things lead to big things. And it just, don't be stupid. Like, I have no idea why people are stupid. Like, like I am not the brightest crayon in the box by any means, but like, y'all, like, y'all, don't be stupid. Like, don't be stupid. Hold on, Spawn. I am getting you. There we go. Like, I just don't understand. And maybe I'm naive, but like, this is just don't be stupid. Like, there is no political solution, then I would just focus on reading practical material, such as the ways to do attacks, Telegram publications, and Redstone Killers talk of this. If you already know all of that and are just waiting for a signal, well, then this is your signal to act. Jewish politicians and billionaires have names and addresses. Find out what they are. Kill them. This paragraph E, I preface that with, y'all know that some of Trump's grandkids and kids are Jewish. So that just makes this one seem like even worse. Didn't you attempt MIT? Nah, yeah, no. I went to a community college. Like, I went to University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and a community college. And I graduated from the community college. Killer topic this morning. I know, right? It's like uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to read. As a side note, the other attacks that may occur, I have no idea what they are, who they target. I have no idea even if they are the same ideology as I. Point being, this manifesto is specifically for the attacks that target 47th president. There will never be a perfect revolutionary situation that springs up out of nowhere. We need to create a revolutionary situation ourselves. I do agree that only if terrorism is sustained over a period of time can it be effective. In short, huge amounts of violence will be required. Trigger warning. Long past are the days when we can vote for a Yahtzee to save us. It is time we stop waiting. The best day to commit an attack is today. The next best is tomorrow. So okay. This kid's mentality is off the wall crazy. Off the wall crazy. Yeah, I see your point. But part of this that we can discuss certain things in this that make it easier to see in other people. But the interesting thing about this, and by no means am I defending this kid at all, but the people who call Trump a Yahtzee, this seems to be Yahtzees, and people who buy into that ideology don't see Trump as a Yahtzee. So think about that as like people who advocate for that type of 1930s Germany mentality don't see Trump as the 1930s German mentality. So these people who on a whim just hate him for whatever reason, and it's fine to not like people. It happens every day. But to call someone a Yahtzee when Yahtzees don't see that person as a Yahtzee, do you see where I'm going with that? Like, people who want to call him the worst things in the world, the people who believe that ideology don't even see him as that. So it's like, yeah. It seems like, or he sounds like very intelligent, misguided, and living in a fantasy world. Yeah, and this is part of the this is part of the whole like online downside of the internet is you can talk about these things online behind a keyboard. Nobody knows who you are. And you can incite teenagers to believe these things when you aren't showing who you are. And that's my issue with the internet, is because some of y'all I know, some of y'all I talk to, and I know you're really who you say you are. But like, there's people, you never know who people are behind a screen name. And you never know who people are. Downside to the internet is it's just, Telegram is a like an instant messaging kind of, like a WhatsApp kind of thing. I've never used it. I believe I'm a boomer like that. I have text messages and Facebook messages and Discord and Twitter or X. But there's all sorts of messaging apps, WhatsApp, Telegram, you know. He's a wackadoodle. My screen name is my actual name. Mine is not. But, you know, it is what it is. It's just, coming to the stage, a good friend of mine, who's an actual friend. He wanted Mr. Squid to adopt him yesterday because we made ribs. Spawn Trooper.
I don't know what you're on about. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. What are you on about, this adoption?
The fact that you're actually my friend, because I talk to you offline for hours a day and about things that have nothing to do with YouTube.
Oh yeah, we do that all the bloody time.
Yeah.
I still want to be adopted though. That
Mr. Squid already told you you're not his type.
Listen, mini skirts change the view of anybody, so
you heard it from his mouth. He told you specifically.
Yeah, I know. I still think he did. He just had to say that because you were there. Anyway, I would like to just point out a couple of things for people who, now I don't believe. Sorry, let me rephrase this. Now there was a couple of comments in there, and a couple of certain terminologies and stuff like that. What you have to remember, right, prior to World War II, around the turn of the century, a lot of countries would take symbols and wordings from different countries, different eras, right? And a lot of the wording that you saw in this document stemmed from Rome, but were taken by other cultures like Germany, France, and that, and were used for their own, how can I put it, to make it sound good, so to speak. Yeah, it's just like when you take it, like when you're in a theater on stage, you want to perform the best of your performance, so you'll take certain improvisations, you'll take certain things from different actors, and then become that character yourself. Now, in the document, there was a name called Atomwaffen. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into it in detail. However, over here in the UK, we've got a serious problem with RWT. RWT is basically the terminology for right-wing terrorism and that. And basically that they are more of a threat than Daesh were. Okay, because there's a lot of issues. Now, this group was formed in 2013 by a gentleman called Russell Bruce. I'm not going to go into his name details. However, this is a group that is worldwide. So we all need to be on the same page to understand what they mean with, with martial arts, white-only martial arts. Now, if we look at the history around the time of Martin Luther King, we look at the time of Malcolm X, around that time, the 50s, around the 50s and 60s, obviously there was a segregation. And this is what they meant with that terminology about white martial art thing. So, and because obviously this is a very delicate topic, this day and age is an extreme delicate topic. May I just make one statement? This is not a racial conversation. This is not a discriminative conversation. This is an information gathering type of topic with a statement from a court. Okay. The last big issue with the right wing in Europe was a group called Combatant 18. Was a group called Combat 18, which were quite, they were on the radar, put it that way. And the biggest issue is after the post 1945, a lot of groups, especially over in the States and some places in Europe and some places around the world, took on the ideology of what the Nationaldeutsche Sozialistische Arbeiterpartei, which we all know as the Razzies, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people haven't educated themselves, and a lot of people, so there you go. And I'm going to send you a link of the one from over here. So I've already sent you a couple of links in regards of the what you call it, about the escalating issues in the United States from 2014 to I believe it was 2020. I'm still looking for anything after that.
And I do think after we're done reading this would be a good conversation, like to have a few people on and discuss like different areas of the country and what's going on, and obviously the UK. And thank you for being my voice from overseas and giving me your perspective, because I know there's cultural differences, but you see things that I don't because of your culture.
Well, over here, over here, like, there's, they say, there is a negative indifference between the Welsh, the English, the Scottish, and the Irish. Well, no, that's not. We have always been a country that has been invaded left, right, and center. But every time we've been invaded, after a couple of years, we just get sick and tired of the visitors, and then we kick them out. And then if we get really bored, then we start a fight with each other, which we've had 178 civil wars, and 170. I think it's 178 civil wars, and 77 of those civil wars. We have been involved in 178 plus wars, and 77 of those were civil wars, ranging from a couple of hours all the way up to over 100 years. So we know what the score is. Even the Germans in the Second World War didn't come over to the UK because I knew they'd get their ass kicked. Anyway, in regards of right wing and racism in Europe, it is extremely, extremely high, and this is due to the fact that the rules keep on changing, the laws keep on changing. People get away with this, people get away, and it's very delicate. It's a conversation that's so delicate that even I, because I judge people by their actions, not by their ideology or their cultural background or whatever. But unfortunately, it's becoming worse and worse, because it's like you get people like these individuals here who, in this document, who can be easily manipulated and easily convinced of something that either is not true or is wrong. But for them, they're convinced it's right. And there you go. That's where you get.
And I think that after we're done reading this document, because we're not going to get through all this today, but after we get done reading this document, it would be nice to have a discussion with different people on what this document and how this relates to different things. What can we use this document for a positive? But
what was that other group called, by the way? What was that other group called, by the way? The non
Order of the Nine, or Order of the Nine Angels, 09A. So I'm going to keep reading.
Yep, you keep reading. I'm going to do some research while we talk.
There's never long past are the days when we can vote for a Yahtzee leader to save us. It's time we stop waiting. The best day to commit an attack is today. The next best is tomorrow. And that's just warped. It is time that we lead the way to the system collapse. You do absolutely anything you can that will lead to the collapse of America or any other country you live in. That is the only way that we can save the white race. White revolution is the only solution. No, just stop. And then he lists all these articles where and all the footnotes that I'm not going to read because I already feel like this is going to be demonetized.
Well, not just that, but what you're doing, you like, unfortunately, this court document is basically making a statement because they're writing everything out in such a way that basically you're literally making a statement for them by reading it out.
Yeah, and I feel like this needs to be brought up though, because how many of these do we not see, and what can we use this, and how can we use this situation to thwart other situations?
Yeah.
Or we need to be educated on the fact that this shit is really happening. It might be isolated incidents, but like it is really happening. Yeah.
I mean the content, like the contradicting terms. It's like I think someone's been watching what you call it, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, because it's because the order of whatever they're called. I mean, it's talk about contradicting in terms. It's a satanic group, which is totally against. Yeah,
and I would like to point and laugh at this kid for his stupid ideology. However, we also have to remember that 2 people already lost their lives, potentially by him, allegedly by him, because of this. So, it's one of those things of it's also important as parents that we identify things that from this that we can learn from, like watching what your kids are doing online, not giving them free reign of the internet, like having their passwords. And no, it is not, I'm sorry, but that girl, it might get some privacy that she is allotted to, but like I am going to know passwords to phones, passwords to email addresses, and I will be checking because this shit happens.
And you know what's really embarrassing?
What?
This order came to be recognized in the 1960s by the marchers in Wales. That's the embarrassing part. And believe it or not, it was created by a woman, not a guy, but it only surfaced. Yeah, it's a very weird. I mean, I'll do the research. That's not a problem. Because I done history on Germany and France as a hobby. I'm sending you all the stuff that I find, but it's one topic that one has to be very, very delicate of how one puts it across, because it's very easy.
I'm trying to be very like, this is the affidavit for the search warrant, and it's like it's like
well, it has to be very, very in your face for them to actually get the warrant. So they've used terminologies and wordings, they put stuff in there.
And Flash Fan, I'm not gonna be like that because I already give her like the privacy that as a human and autonomy that like you need, but like when it comes to the internet, I remember when the internet was relatively new and chat rooms and IRC and shit that I did and said and people that I talked to, I know better. I know better.
The biggest issue is over the last 20 years or last 15 years, the word racism and the word discrimination. The word racism has been, it's like an everyday, it's like hello, how are you? It's one of those words. Whereas the difference between discrimination and racism, the word discrimination is hardly used anymore. I mean, people may not agree with each other. It doesn't matter what ideology or what culture or what skin color or what orientation you are. With these groups, it's just one way. And that's the problem. And there are a lot of people out there who are very easily misled. They're very easily convinced. When people have got anxieties, and unfortunately, it comes down to mental health as well. Because when someone realizes, oh, this person is, then they start like feeding this individual with certain things, and then they make them happy. They give them presents and take them places, and
and there's a couple of things that overarching topics that I tend to talk about. Like, I was on my soapbox this morning for the first 20 minutes of this stream doing my Hater of the Week segment, who happens to be a What the Hale supporter. Somebody sent me a screenshot of, actually more than one person sent me a screenshot of this particular individual saying that like I'm hate Jeremy Hales, or I'm this, or I'm a grifter because of this, like,
wait, what?
Whatever. But it's that all or nothing. And I say we live, like, people need to stop living in an all or nothing and preaching that it's okay to be an all or nothing, because this topic right here, this ideology is all or nothing. And it's like not to like compare someone supporting Jeremy Hales or supporting Lynette Preston with an all or nothing, with a neo-Nazi ideology. But it's the same line of thinking in the fact that if you're not with me, you're against me. It's that same.
I mean, it's like look what happened to Caesar or Claudius, or look what happened to some of the emperors of Rome. How easy it was to convince other people to go against them. I mean, look at how things changed from between 1900 and 1910, about 1912. The thing is, a lot of people don't realize that our German friend, who caused most of the problems in World War II, prior to him actually joining up, he was an artist. He was a bum. He lived off other people, and then he was an artist. And then he went into and then fought in the First World War, got injured, but he was an artist. And then afterwards, he tried to sell his art. Okay, people don't know that, and it's just like, look at
that was one of the other reasons that he loved to pillage art, is because he was an artist and he valued.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people think, like, for example, the perfect example, all right, of what happened during 1938 and 1937, I believe it was, and 1946. Go and watch Monuments Men. That is based on true events and true facts. Okay, there are still items from Rome, from France, from Germany, from Italy, from Spain. There are places like Spain was neutral. However, Germans went in there and stole famous paintings and stuff like that. So and the thing is, it's because the ideology, because like everyone believes, yes, there was going to be this and there's going to be that, and look how long that lasted.
It's just one of those, like, it's just one of those, like, this goes so much deeper than just this kid and his parents.
This is a rabbit hole where even I will give you a helmet and a flak jacket.
And that's one of the reasons that I want to read it, is because it's like, this needs to be, it doesn't need to be celebrated, but it needs to be like, y'all need to see this, because this shit is really going on. So the people that say it never existed or doesn't exist ever are wrong, but the people that say it's everywhere are wrong too. We live in this gray area, and that's one of the reasons that I preach not living in a black or white society. Like, nothing is one way. Like, two things can be true at the same time.
I mean, it's perfect. Like the perfect example of what you said in our private conversation about the NTSB report is the fact that, like, the media will only report certain things, but they won't report every single thing. And this is the perfect examples that this has only come out because of the court, because of the court documents and some news journalist or something and then publicized it. Now, hadn't that been publicized, no one would have been wouldn't have been unaware of how bad the situation is. Everyone knows that there are right wing and left wing groups out there, but no one knows to what level and to what extreme level it goes. And this is the perfect example of how bad it can get.
And this kid was 17, and I know where the high school that he went to. I know where it is. I've been there. Like, it's like, yeah, I haven't been in high school in, God, 21 years, but at the same time, like, I know where he's from. And this is a very, like, Republican area, very, not wealthy, but, like, it has its areas where, you know, houses are in the millions and millions of dollars. But it also has houses that are like, you know, like the one I live in now, like average, nothing special. Like it's one of those, I haven't, but Jeff, I'm going to screenshot that so that I don't forget it. Because that is something, because this is why I love the chat. And I know sometimes chat and I, we agree to disagree, but there are things that you guys tell me or say, have you read this or have you seen this, that I haven't, despite looking into things. I haven't, like, in this topic, like, you Google this kid's name, you get like 3 or 4 articles from like 2 weeks ago. You get the parent side, but I had to actually read. I got this from an article that Flash Fan sent me. But I had to actually, like, it's a link at the very bottom, or like, you know, it's one of those embedded links that you don't really think to click on, or you don't really think is a link. And I clicked on it, and this is what I found. That was not Flash Fan. That was not my high school. I lived with my aunt and uncle, and I went to the ritzy kids' high school. I was not ritzy. I lived with my aunt and uncle at the time. So you wrote your. Oh, I would love to have a conversation with you. If you ever want to come on this channel and talk about this, no camera required, obviously, spawns on this channel. No one's ever seen his face. But y'all are more than welcome.
And just very quickly, for people who don't understand the terminology of neo, okay? Neo is actually, it's a Greek, it comes from ancient Greek origin, and it basically means new, right? Or it means like revived. It's either a new or revived. And I don't think a lot of these people, when they start these groups, actually realize, because they probably used the word because it sounded good, right? But it is basically from ancient Greek. And to be honest with you, it means new or young, but that's by and by. Just thought I'd throw that in there so people actually knew what was going on. I'll shut up now.
and yes, Jeff, LOL, my face is in my channel name. Yes, but a lot of people don't like to be on camera on like a live stream or a video. So there's a difference between having it in your icon and then actually being on camera and talking. Because it's a different animal when your face is plastered on the internet for the world to see.
And don't forget, the older you get, the south it goes. So don't worry about it.
I have my WTF line that I'm still working on. No level of cream is getting rid of that.
Oh, and by the way, just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, Ewoks, Wookiees, members of the jury, Your Honor, I am not racist in any shape or form. I hate everyone equally.
Yeah, me too. If I hate you, it's because you're an asshole. It's not because of the color of your skin.
Exactly. Wait, what?
Well, I said if I hate you.
Oh, right. Okay.
A generalization. If I hate someone, it's because they treated me like crap. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt until they prove me wrong.
Yeah, I think when it comes to,
can screw me over, like in the MLS situation, because not everybody, but a lot of people, and that's where I use generalizations too. And I'm like, no, not everybody. Some people were telling me that I need to like block this person, or I need to not have this person in my chat. Same thing with Bruce. People were telling me not having him here, not having him here. I give people the benefit of the doubt, and because you don't like somebody else, doesn't mean that, like, Flash Fan, I know everybody loves you. Nobody dislikes Flash Fan except for idiots who try to troll you.
Oh,
But
I can't stand flashbang. He's rude as hell. He's disrespectful. He's got no respect for his elders. Yeah, he keeps on taking my car keys. And
yeah,
he keeps
that's a
on
lie.
my food.
But friend, I'm going to use you as an example.
Wait, no,
Flash
don't
fan,
use me as an example.
I'm going to use Flash Fan as an example.
Oh, thank God for that.
Like,
God.
Well, when Flash Fan first started coming in this channel, like on paper, according to society at large today, you would not think that Flash Fan and I would get along. We're not supposed to get along based on certain, generally middle of the road Republican, libertarian kind of leave me alone.
Oh my God, here we go. Politics.
Well, you would think on paper, according to what society basically preaches now, we're not supposed to get along. And we get along great. Yeah, polar opposites on paper. Male, female, young, old. Not Flash Fan's not the youngest, but like, I'm almost 40. So anybody who I was an adult before they were born, I'm like, okay, like, or I was driving a car before they were born. I'm like, okay, but like black, not obviously like neon. So it technically by Democrat, generally Republican, like on paper, we're not supposed to get along. And we have so many things in common we get along great. Like he's like my little brother. It's what society teaches these days, and societal norms, according to certain people, aren't true. And it's just, you have to if I don't like somebody, it's because they treated me like crap. Not because their skin color. It's because you treated me like crap. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to describe that. Like, it's just Squid's a boomer compared to me. I'm technically a millennial, but I identify more with Gen X because Gen X is like to 83 and I was born in 85. So I'm like, Gen X claim me. Like, I grew up before the internet. Like, I technically identify with Gen X. Yeah, it's like, nah. I spent the last 7 years of my career investigating transitional crime in the U.S. Believe it or not, we have a huge problem here with transnational crime. Sorry, I can't read. Criminal elements from Yugoslavia, Albania, and Croatia. Croatia, I can believe. I was in Croatia in 2006, only for a few days. But Croatia, I can believe. It's a very nice place, but you get out of the main touristy area of the city that I was in, and it was like, yeah. Ugh. What would you be considered? Gen Z? Probably Gen Z. Either that or a very young millennial. I don't know. All right, let's get back into this. This is nihilistic, violent extremists are individuals who engage in criminal conduct within the U.S. and abroad in furtherance of political, social, or religious goals that derive primarily from hatred of society at large and a desire to bring about its collapse by sowing indiscriminate chaos, destruction, and social instability. NVEs work individually or as part of a network with these goals of destroying civilized society through the corruption and exploitation of vulnerable populations. That's why mental health care, we don't need to ostracize those with mental health or lift them up and say that they're brave in this. We need to help them because they are vulnerable.
Quick one. Is this written by the FBI or is this written by...
This is an FBI agent in Milwaukee.
Right. When you're done, I'm gonna put my 2 cents in onto this one.
This was written by an FBI. This is an affidavit for a search warrant written by the FBI, who was former Navy and an EOD tech.
Right. But still, I'm gonna put my 2 cents in when you're done.
Okay. You can put your 2 cents in now because this is 30 pages long.
You know as well as I do, anyone, may they be armed forces, law enforcement, or lawyers or anything, will they will put the truth in there, but they will put the truth in there in their own version to make it sound much, much worse than it is. And the wording that he just used there, and may I quote, that tree's in the way. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah. Both individual and as a network systematically. Oh no, that's the wrong one. From derived primarily from a hatred of society at large. So he's a psychologist and he's done a psychological evaluation and everything else. Okay. And a desire to bring about the collapse by showing indiscriminate chaos, destruction, social instability. Right. Has he got any proof? Has there been a record of this? Right.
Well, this might be in his defense, not to defend any FBI agent, because there's only one FBI agent that I will defend, and he's a friend of mine. But this might be a definition that the FBI uses. So this might be he's picking it from an FBI handbook or whatever they use as he might be a profiler. And this is when you're working on terrorism and stuff, you might have to be.
Yeah, but my argument is this, as me and you do sometimes, do this. My argument is this: assumption is not fact. It's speculation. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've missed the beginning of this, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to defend these guys, and I'm not trying to say that the FBI agent is wrong in what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of assumption, and unless I don't know, it's very hard for me to say it in very polite words. Basically, at the end of the day, is he exactly? Thank you. Is he being biased, or is this an unbiased profile that he has established over a set period of time, or is he just writing this down just for the fucking fact that he wants to get this warrant?
So that's the $1 million question, but I think that's a question with law enforcement as a whole, putting things into and making. But I think that's the difference between an affidavit and a court document.
Mm-hmm.
Because an affidavit, you have to prove your case. You have to say why a judge should give you a search warrant, that there's probable cause.
Right.
So this is different than a court document and being subject to perjury. Because we all know, as much as I want to support law enforcement, there are shitty law enforcement officers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So but I'm wondering if some of these things that he's saying in there are what the FBI classifies, the NVE. The FBI might have a working definition that they use that says, if you're going to use this in an affidavit, this is what you use to describe it. This is what the FBI, almost like when we were at the hospital, we had a list of acronyms. This is what this acronym uses. These are your approved acronyms to use in documentation. If the FBI, and I don't know, this is just me speculating.
The reason I'm saying, sorry, go ahead.
No, if they have this as a working definition, it's not him and using his words and what he is being biased. It's the FBI as a whole. So there's that too.
Right, because the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because I've just read that paragraph 23, 24, and I would, if I wasn't which I'm not aware at the moment, but to me it looks a lot like fear mongering. But he's putting it in so much detail that anyone who'd read this go, oh shit, yeah, here you go, there's a warrant. You know what I mean?
And this is one of the reasons that I want to read through this, because it shows there's multiple ways you can take this, and there's things that you not only can see. But does this also fearmonger to the point where you start seeing it, and because to a hammer, everything's a nail.
Yeah.
When you're looking for racism and you're looking for societal collapse or terrorists or anything like that.
Yeah.
Are you seeing it because that's what you're trained to see?
Yeah.
So there's
there's a lot of avenues.
Everything's a nail.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can take from all this. but being unbiased, and I think that's the most important thing, is being unbiased and just
It's fascinating, and it's one of the reasons that I'm trying to read this with an open mind. Not that I agree with either side, because I don't. It's just this is where not living in a black and white society, or living in the gray area.
Yeah,
because
I find it fascinating, though.
simple.
I mean, so far I find it fascinating.
And this is why I tell people, like I was on my soapbox at the beginning with my hater of the week. This is why I tell people that things, and this is not to relate this drama with the Hales case, but like when if you're not with me, you're against me.
Yeah.
Like this is where that mentality, this is why I hate preaching that mentality and hate saying that mentality is okay, because nothing is ever black and white.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are pissed off with me, because I do not conform to sheep mentality, nor do you, and some other people don't either. And a lot of people get pissed off with that, and they don't like that fact.
Yeah, and I'm not going to, like I said, like today, that person, the screenshot I showed, that person that was like, well, she doesn't like Jeremy. Saying that we're not friends does not mean I don't like him. How often do friends talk? Daily, weekly, monthly? I have not talked to Jeremy. I've talked to him once, and that was for like 5 minutes on my stream last year.
Yeah.
Like, that is not my definition of a friend. Does that mean that I wish him ill will and I'm not friend? Like, I hate him? No. Just because you're not friends does not mean you hate people. Like the cashier at the grocery store.
It sounds like people are trying. Yeah, it sounds like there are people out there who try to manipulate their rhetoric and their narrative. And at the end of the day, you were not even involved in any of this. You were dragged into this, screaming and kicking. And at the end of the day, when people hate on you, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
That's why I just laugh at it, because
I mean,
they're the mentality that I make fun of. Those are the people that I point and laugh at, because it's like, you live your life in an all or nothing. You can't live, because if like this person, this NVE, if they are under the impression that if you disagree with them, that you are against them. It's like, I don't want to hate anybody. And just because I don't like your ideology does not mean that I wish you the worst thing. Sometimes I wish karma would catch up to people. But like, it's like saying I don't like Lynette, so I hope that something bad happens to her. No, that's not just because you know what I mean? Like, there's a fine line. It's not one or the other.
Yeah, but don't forget, Squid, is that sometimes people, and I mean this with the utmost respect. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but there are some people who, when the bread van was coming through the village, some people decided to pick up the bricks instead of the bread. Some people are slow to catch on to what's going on, and unfortunately,
when they were in line when God was handing out brains, they were in the very, very, very back of the line.
No, they stood in the train station waiting for the 1642 to come in. No, but I find it, because one thing you have to understand, like the difference between the situation that's going on with Mr. Hales and George and everyone else is it's like day and night. Here we're talking about radical, brainwashed individuals who believe in one system, in one entity, whereas with the Hales and everything else, it's all based on deception. It's based on lies. It's based on personal attacks. It's based on trying to gain something from someone without doing anything. And unfortunately, a lot of people got dragged into it. A lot of people, they're either easily convinced that one side is bad and one side is good, but they don't have their own opinion, because they just let other people give them their opinion. And unfortunately, there are people like that. And this sounds like, excuse me, this sounds like these individuals here, There are people, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there are people out there when it comes to brain cells. You know, they thought it was Duracell, so they bought themselves 2 batteries. So, you know.
All right, we're gonna keep reading.
Sorry.
No.
I tried to keep it serious, but I can't. You should know.
I know, and this is why we like dark humor around here, because sometimes with some of the topics that we talk about, if you don't use dark humor and sarcasm and like as coping mechanisms, you're gonna go freaking insane.
Yeah, I know.
With the amount of court docs that I read and cases that I watch where people are unaliving each other, like you don't talk about that without it doing something to your mental health. So, like, dark humor is our coping mechanism. Yes, laugh to keep from crying. NVEs, both individually and as a network, systematically and methodically target vulnerable populations across the United States and the globe. NVEs frequently use social media communication platforms to connect with individuals and desensitize them to violence by, among other things, breaking down societal norms regarding engaging in violence, normalizing the possession, production, and sharing of gore material, and otherwise corrupting and grooming those individuals towards committing future acts of violence. This sounds like he got these 2 paragraphs from just what the FBI as a whole views these things as. Because if you're going to write a 30-page document, not everything is going to come straight from your own head.
Wait, this is a 30-page? Oh, shit, it is.
Yeah, this is 34 pages.
Oh, shit, you definitely dug out a fucking rabbit hole for yourself there, haven't you?
Yeah, it's 26 pages long, but then there's exhibits.
Oh. If you need help reading, let me know. Just give me a thumbs up, and then I'll read stuff for you.
Sounds good. Those individuals are targeted online, often. Often through synchronized group chats. NVEs frequently conduct coordinated extortions of individuals by blackmailing them so they comply with the demands of the network. And this is where the groupthink mentality this is why I hate groupthink, because this is where groupthink can lead. This is an extreme case of groupthink, but like, this is why I don't like groupthink on any level. Like, this is why critical thinking skills are massive and massively important to society and the success of society. Because this is awful.
Can I just interject there in regards of group thinking? I mean, like when you went through boot camp and I went through boot camp, we all turned up. We were individuals. When they started dragging us screaming and kicking through training, for me in infantry it was 6 months. I'm not sure about the Navy. I think it's 2 days and then you go for a beach party or something like that. But anyway, the thing is, there's a similarity in this where with the military or police force, because everyone thinks the same, everyone is trained up to the level the same, and then you go off to your phase 2 training. Then after you've done your phase 2, you become a phase 3 soldier. Well, that's what they call it now, right? And then when you do your phase 3 training, that's basically you as a qualified soldier. You're doing now the way the way it's written there describes quite a lot of. How can I put it?
Law enforcement.
Yeah, law enforcement, military. Any type of institution where they deal, as a team. That's team environment. But under these circumstances, this is completely the opposite direction.
Angel. Oh, what did we? Here you
That's
go.
a very interesting comment.
It's just that lost souls in the inner city turned to gangs and racism. Lost souls in the rural area turned to supremacy groups and racism. Yeah, and this is where
Snap.
Stephen, we had in boot camp, we had a ice cream party. We were in air conditioned barracks because they were redoing their barracks one at a time to be air conditioned. We were in air conditioning. However, we had an ice cream party. They put 2 gallons of ice cream in the middle of the floor and we PT'd till it melted in an air conditioned room.
I think my feelings have just been hurt by 2 people in your stream.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, one says that you guys get freaking ice cream. I mean, yeah, and fucking. And then Marlin says that I drink worse coffee and Dr. Pepper. Worse coffee, Marlin. My feet, you've hurt me. That's in the heart, madam. That was in the heart. Oh. Oh, there's baby squid.
I kind of would say that this is a cult situation. Like, it's just a different kind of cult. But it's the groupthink mentality, because what do all cults have in common? The groupthink.
Yeah, the only difference from what I've learned so far from all this paperwork, all this document, is the difference between the Waco situation and this. One is religious, one is racial. So you got two, you got ideology and cultural. That's what I see from this.
So now she's doing this thing. Instead of touching something herself when she knows she's not allowed to touch it, she will grab your finger. Watch, and she will grab your finger and touch something. Like,
Mommy,
Angel.
Oh, what does this? Yeah, it was just like, oh, what does this button do?
She'll literally see she's grabbing onto my finger and guiding me to the stream deck.
Oh, wait a minute. These demands vary and include, but are not limited to self that online and input harm to siblings and active violence, threats of violence. And oh, God, that's one paragraph I don't think anyone should read.
Oh, this one?
25, yeah.
25?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's y'all can read that one for yourself. Yeah.
Just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this stream or you're reviewing this stream, this is a court document, which is a public document. So therefore, trigger warning, you may find or see wording or paragraphs in it that may affect you or may trigger some sort of reaction. So please, if at any time you are squeamish or you do not wish to see any type of terminology that may offend you, please fast forward. Thank you. Have a good day. Dankeschön, Damen und Herren. Wenn Sie irgendwas in diesem Dokument sehen, das Ihnen psychologisch anpasst oder wehtut, dann bitte weiter streuen, ja? Prost. Mesdames et Messieurs, la attention, pour vous.
Yeah, and there are certain things that I am just not going to read. Paragraph 25. If you are watching this on a replay crew, pause it and read it yourself, because I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole. This stream is monetized. As far as I know, it is still monetized. And I am just not, there's just certain things I'm not touching.
I'm going to send you a private message.
Historically, NVE systematically target vulnerable individuals by grooming, extorting, coercing, or otherwise compelling through force, the threat of force, victims to do something to themselves or threaten other people, and photograph or film such activity, which is just horrible on every level.
Excuse me. Just send you a personal message. But yeah, like I said, if you want anything read out for a couple of minutes, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to give you the sexy voice. Yes, Miss Moneypenny.
And that right there is why Mr. Squid said you're not his type.
Well, I want a divorce then.
Members of the network have edited compilation photographs or videos of targeted individuals, shared the photographs and videos on social media for several reasons, including to gain notoriety amongst members of the network and spread fear among those targeted individuals for the purpose of accelerating the downfall of society and otherwise achieving the goals of the NVE. These networks have adopted various monikers to identify themselves. The networks have changed over time, which has led to the creation of related networks. Although the network changes names, uses a variety of different social media platforms, the core members and goals remain consistent and align with the overarching threat of NVE. Okay.
Conspiracy. Ooh.
Performing preliminary review also saw an image with information on how to utilize a drone as an attack drone. That was an episode of NCIS from like 2006. The information contains directions on how to extend the range of an attack drone by using repeater drones and ways to avoid detection, such as making the drone from a kit rather than a commercial off-the-shelf brand. The instructions provide direction to use I'm not reading that, very strong poison. Additionally, to avoid detection, the instruction advised not to bring a cell phone. Yeah, we all have personal detection devices in our pocket if you have a cell phone and you have it on. Yeah. FBI personnel performing the preliminary review also saw a Telegram DM conversation with that is not Russian, that is Ukrainian. Yeah, who writes in Cyrillic and has the Ukrainian mobile phone number which I'm not. In the conversation, accelerationist states, how long will I need to hide before I will be moved to Ukraine? 1 to 2 months. Also, yeah, he was earlier they said, who would this be blamed on? And they said Russia. And like, that's not taking international conflict and making it like and this right here is why I say the US needs to stay out of like other people's issues. Yes, should we help facilitate peace? Of course. But like getting involved on a behind the scenes, not directly, but like behind the scenes, like sending people things. This is one of the things that like my brain goes to on when you do things without transparency, this stuff happens. And it's
I find it very out of all the countries they could have picked, I just find it so interesting that there's a phone number.
I think it's because he was born in Moldova. So even though he's from Wisconsin, or he lives in Wisconsin, his mom brought him here when they were very little. They immigrated here. So like it.
Yeah, I get it. I understand, but for some reason, one of my red flags popped out. I don't know. I just find it very. I mean, like Moldova. Okay, Moldova's there. Then you got okay. So okay. But the thing is, what I can't understand, if he is from there and he was young, most families or most I've got Ukrainian friends and I've also got Russian friends, and when they're at home, regardless if they're living in the UK or in the States or Timbuktu, it doesn't matter. They will still speak their mother language, i.e. Ukrainian or Russian. So I find it quite. This is why my red flag went up. You know, about him needed to brush up on his Russian. You know, so but because the thing is, if he turns up in Ukraine and starts talking Russian, if he's not DBR or LBR, he'll get his arse handed to it. Yeah, so
it's just interesting that maybe his background, like where his family is from, he might still have family members in Moldova, yeah, where it's just it goes deeper than just like it's not like he was a kid that was born in the US and has this this mentality. Like his mom brought him here when he was a small child, so there's multiple things that can go into some of this. I have not seen this in the news. If you Google his name, you get articles about the fact that he is allegedly accused of unaliving. Small blurb on that he might be, tied to political extremism. But like nobody's talked about this that I'm aware of. I could be wrong, but nobody has really done news reports on this. Yeah.
Well, I just had to go and confirm. I had to go and confirm because, like, the red flag. I had a red flag, like I said, and I just had to go and double check because I know for a fact that there's only certain parts of Moldova where they speak Russian, because Moldova is primarily Romanian. They speak Romanian. They're not Russian. And that's why I was like, well, hang on a minute. Why would he need to learn Russian when? And then that's when I went and double checked. Moldova is more Romanian speaking. Their official language is Romanian.
And that's the thing. Like I've heard of Moldova, but I couldn't pick it out on a map without having to like look. Whereas a lot of other countries, I can go, well, it's here. I'd have to do some searching.
Well, if you look on the map, Moldova is that small enclave between Romania and Ukraine. So if you're in Odessa, it is northwest.
Okay.
So
Northwest
it's,
Odessa.
yeah. I'm going to send you a screenshot. I'm going to send you a screenshot of where exactly it is. So
yeah. Also, I should probably brush up on my Russian because I can understand just fine, but speaking is harder. So while in Ukraine, I'll be able to get a normal job and have a normal life, even when it's found out what I did. I did it. Do the other 10 people also have similar beliefs to I, or are they different? Assuming that my parents won't leave remainder of message cut off. Like, oh yeah.
I just sent you the picture of Moldova, where it is.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like I could have Googled it easily, but like it's just one of those things.
Hey, it's one thing I do. I do research.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I love you, because I don't sometimes time gets away from me. And like I block off time where I want to do research. And then like yesterday I was gonna put her to sleep and do research for a couple hours. And then all of a sudden she went from almost falling asleep just watching a cartoon to running around the house screaming and crying to the point where Mr. Squid got out of bed 3 times because he thought something was wrong with her, because she all of a sudden just wanted to scream about everything. Her water tipped over. Instead of just picking her water up, she screamed and cried about it, like pointing at it like, Mom, fix it, even though she was closer to it than I was. We were having a night. If it was found out, wouldn't he be extradited back to Wisconsin? Well, that for the unalivings, yes. But here's the thing. This has nothing to do with the unalivings. The unalivings is what brought all this to the forefront. They never would have known about this if he never would have allegedly did that.
And also, if he'd have been found over in Ukraine, considering the circumstances that's going on over there at the moment and the political standpoint and everything else, the system, I mean, people have gone over there to fight for the Ukrainians, and it's turned out that some of these people have got criminal records, and the Ukrainians have got driven to the freaking Slovakian or Hungarian or Romanian border, and they've literally handed them over to the police over there. And Romania and the other countries, they don't want that trouble on their doorstep, so they hand them straight to the Interpol. Ukraine doesn't want or doesn't need this level of attention. Not at the moment, anyway.
And Tammy, before she left and before you got here, she pointed out a very interesting, timing. He supposedly, according to this, is accused of unaliving his parents on February 11th. That is before, what's his name? Zelensky met with
President Trump. Yeah.
Trump. So not to say those things are connected, but
I don't think
they're not just not implying that Zelensky had anything to do with it, but this kid thinking that he was going to get some sort of notoriety and get help from Ukraine, like Ukraine really cared. It just the timing of it is something interesting to think about from the kid's perspective, not from Ukraine's and like Zelensky being a party to this not happening ever. But like from the kid's perspective and what was going through his warped mind, that he did this, he was going to get some sort of notoriety because the Ukrainian president,
but the fact is, the fact is that the FBI are writing all this now. We all know that sometimes government bodies will make Mount Everest from a mound, a mole mound. just because President Zelensky was there on
Yeah.
on visit to the White House is just pure coincidental. In my opinion,
it's
anyway.
coincidental from the Ukrainian side, but I'm wondering if the kid had anything going through his head where he, in his warped mind, this is from a warped perspective, just wondering if he had thought about that. Or if he didn't, he might not have even known. That might be a super coincidence. It's just one of those like interesting timing things that she mentioned that I was like, I hadn't even thought of. This is why I love the chat, because like I hadn't thought of certain things like that. And
also what gets me as well, that the FBI didn't do the research, because there are apps out there where you can actually put a phone number in and put a name in and send someone a text message, and it'll be like from another person. But the thing is, it's from an app, and I'm surprised they didn't do any research on this, because it's very easy.
Well, like Google Voice, like I have a Google Voice number. I can change my Google Voice number. So that's why like people having my Google Voice number, I put it on my channel. Not obvious, but some people have it. But like if people started harassing me at that number, I would just delete it. So you can delete. That's one of the reasons that scammers with these cell phones, like you get text messages, because they send you these text messages and then they delete the number and get a new one, and then they text you again. It's so easy to just manipulate a phone number. Like you can have 8 phone numbers attached to the same phone because you have a Google Voice number. Like I can have multiple Google Voice numbers to the same phone. It's so like it's crazy these days. So getting back to this, I think we're gonna wrap up in like 10 minutes, because this is a deep and difficult conversation and difficult document, because it brings up so many, like it's part of the reason that I read some of these documents and I cover some of these cases is because these cases lead to larger things. Not only are they like not being talked about in the news when I think they should be, but like they bring up bigger questions of society as a whole and why certain behaviors need to be handled and treated and not made to be like you're brought up in society and made to think you're special. Yes, but you need help. And to say that there's nothing wrong with certain people that need help, like I have depression. If I didn't treat my depression, it would be very, very, very bad. But I treat it. I needed help. And it's fine to admit that you have an issue and need help. We shouldn't ostracize those people, but we also shouldn't hold them like, oh, they're special, or oh, they don't need help, or oh, there's nothing wrong with them. It's like, no, there is something wrong with them and they need help. They are a vulnerable population and they need help. Like it's people with anxiety and depression are a vulnerable population that needs help. People with other mental health issues are vulnerable populations that need to be treated. They don't need to be ostracized and made to feel like there's a problem with them, but they need help. And that's the, to quote back, war is great for business. Yeah. And that's what sucks. Like it's just.
One thing I find that the messages on this number 30, I find it very interesting because this just shows the lack of knowledge. The person is saying this in regards, I'm aware that you only start work and only I've paid you, so I'll text you when I can pay. That includes the headphones as well.
All right. Let's read it from the top so that FBI personnel performing the preliminary review also saw a Telegram direct message conversation with, quote, Angel of Death, username @Angel of Death, that contained the following messages from Casap using the name Accelerationist. You want to read these?
Yeah. A drone with dropping mechanism? Yeah. I still have to ask at myself, regarding what should be carrying capacity of the drone, unless he told you already. Anyway, so the drone would drop a bang with nuts, bolts, needles. So I will need that. Angel, the total amount will be $1,200 to $1,500 payment by ton BTC US dollars bike waiting time is 7 to 10 days. The AD 2005 model is reserved for you. Do you confirm the purchase? Yeah, I'm aware you will only start working once I've paid you. So I'll text you when I can pay. That includes the headphones. I'll come back to all this. That includes the headphones as well. Quality one to protect hearing from gunshots of a 357 Magnum, just making sure. Bitcoin wallet address. That's your Bitcoin address, correct? Just making sure. So once the transfer is complete and I'll be able to pick it up, it is just the drone with the dropping mechanism or also explosives. How much will 200 wheels cost for this bike? Now, I'm going to go back to this. First of all, it's not headphones, it's ear protection or ear guard. Right? Ear protection is basically the modernized ear protection has an inbuilt microphone and noise cancelling system. So that means you can stand next to a artillery piece of 155 millimeter artillery piece, fire that fucker off, pardon my French, and you can stand there and still have a conversation with the guy on the other side of the gun. Right? That's how good these ear defense are. And plus, when you with artillery, you have a two level system ear protection. You will have surefire, which are in ear, okay, and then you'll have the ear protection on top, which are like the earphones that he says that they look like earphones, but they're not. They're ear protection. That tells me that he doesn't have a lot of experience with that type of thing. And the way this conversation is going, it's like the guy on the other end knows full well that this other person is very inexperienced. Because a 357 is not the loudest weapon. You look at, I mean, if you really want to, like an SLR, a 50 cal, any weapon is loud.
It's a handgun. It's loud, but it's not like on the grand spectrum of things that are loud that go boom. It's not the loudest. Yeah,
and the dropping mechanism. All right, the dropping mechanism was first really, really world publicized in the Ukraine conflict because obviously they've designed different variations for different drones. They've designed different types of dropping mechanisms. So that out of all this, that is probably the only thing where I can say, yeah, right, because they've richly reinvented ways of dropping stuff from a drone, different various drones. So, but the 200 wheels cost, is he saying they cost $200 per wheel, or is it both wheels? You see, that's where it's like there's no explanation. That it's like they've taken certain parts of a excuse me. It's like they've taken, say, if me and you have a conversation, it's like they've taken one, it's like 30 seconds clip of our conversation and then just thrown it on paper. There's no context to this. It's basically saying, "Oh, right, that's going to cost that much. This and this and this. Will the ear protection, cover?" I mean, any type of decent ear protection will protect you from high decibel noise, especially the ones they use in the troops that use in Ukraine. All right, both sides use noise cancelling ear defense. You just put batteries in each one, or if it's connected, right, you put a couple of batteries in one, you press two buttons and bang.
I was trying to find wondering if Mr. Squid had his ear protection, and he doesn't. I was wondering if he had it sitting on his desk. He doesn't, but it's literally like
and it's got an inbuilt microphones on each ear piece. And the thing is, the microphone, anything higher than, I think it's 65 decibel, a normal level conversation, anything higher than that, it will automatically put like a filter on it, so it's a noise cancelling. I'm a bit that yeah. This is a very interesting document you've got here.
yeah, on like 30 million different levels.
And the rest.
And then this is where a rabbit hole. But this document is a rabbit hole in itself, because it not only shows how the FBI writes, but like what they can do, what they can't do, what they take things out of context. And yes, every document takes things out of context at a certain point, but it shows that the people this kid was talking to online have a lot more knowledge about things than they do.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
for
just,
sure.
there's just like, and the fact that this wasn't just a simple, like, okay, not to say that any unaliving is simple, but this is not just a kid who got mad at his parents because they took away his Xbox and he decided to, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a case of Carly Gregg where she got mad, her mom took away her vape pen and decided to unalive her mom. Like,
yeah.
You know.
I mean, this here, how can I put this? I'll try to make it simple. To me, it's like if me and Mr. Squid were talking on the phone and he was selling, well, let's say he was selling one of his rifles, and I don't have that much experience about the rifle that he's selling, and I will be asking certain questions. I'll say, right, how much it cost? Right, it'll cost you $1,500. Right, okay, you take this, and this is what it looks like, is that you've got a genuine person on the other side, you know, a salesperson. Let's just hypothetically saying a salesperson. You've got this guy now asking these certain questions. Don't forget, this guy wants to make money. He wants to make money for selling stuff. He doesn't know what you're going to use it for. He doesn't know, you know, I mean, looking at that, I wouldn't know if he was going to use it for something, you know.
Yeah. You don't know exactly what.
Yeah. Out of all that, the only alarm bell that I would be going off on, right, and this is the only alarm bell that I would go off on, was the comment where he says, anyway, yeah, so the drone would drop that bit there. That's when I'm like going,
It's, I don't know. It's just one of the things of what does the FBI have on this person that they're not putting in this because they have another plan for that person to, you know, because if this person's part of a larger network, they don't want the person. They want, it's like a drug dealer. You don't want the dealer. You want where the dealer is getting his stuff from. Like,
yeah.
So it's like, what are they showing enough to get the search warrant, but what are they not showing so that they can keep it private? And this is why a lot of search warrants and affidavits stay sealed, because like this. I don't know, but I think that's a good place to call it a day. I have stuff to do. I have laundry to do, and I want to go to the gym because, yeah.
Oh, by the way, before you do, complete change in topic. Did you ever get taught in training about UVB 76?
Not that I'm aware of, but I've forgotten a lot of stuff.
Also known as the buzzer?
No.
Well, we did. And basically, it's called the buzzer. It's also known as UVB 76. Is a mysterious Russian radio station that has been broadcasting a continuous buzzing sound since 1997. Oh. Occasionally, the buzzing interrupted by short voice transmissions, and the station's purpose, and there had been nothing heard since.
Okay, I didn't hear that about in any training, but now that you mention it, I did hear it on a TV show. Like, I watch a lot of Discovery and Travel Channel and a lot of those, like, you know, declassified things, you know. So I did hear about that on a TV show. I don't remember which one, and it was a long time ago, but it was, yeah. Didn't learn about it in the military, but learned about it from Discovery Channel.
Well, apparently recently words were heard from it.
Oh, that's a rabbit hole too.
Yep. So it's been, so that's something where, you know, where your bum goes.
Yeah. There's a thing. Like,
yeah, so I do apologize for, like, you know, derailing it on that note, but.
No, on that note, we do have to get going. We will pick it up on this part 31 probably either this afternoon or tomorrow.
Yeah, I won't be
do have a
joining
couple
you
of
on this
other
one because
topics
this.
that I want to dive into, but we need to finish one and finish one thing before we dive into another.
Yeah, and I won't be joining you on the next time you stream about this because this is one rabbit hole I refuse to jump into.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that after I'm done reading it, we can go back and like talk about certain things that we noticed. This is one of those read first, analyze later.
Yeah.
It's a thing. So it's definitely a difficult document to read through based on what it's talking about. And this has a lot of not only implications in the US, but this is worldwide. This has a lot of implications with the whole, this adds another layer of complexity to the whole Russian-Ukrainian conflict, in the sense of there are people like this who are in one of those countries but selling people chaos in the US. It's just, it's an international crisis.
Yeah, but my question is this: does the person over there fully understand what they're being involved in?
They might not, and I'm interested to see if the if anything comes out with that. Because this one's public, how many of these are not public? Like, what does the FBI know that they can't tell us due to national security? Like, it's just a...
Who's in jail, Flash? The guy who... Oh, these guys who... Wait, are these guys being...
I think that the FBI is working with other people. Like, if I just had to make a guess, that they're working with other people to...
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Casap's in jail now. But they might also be using him and still on his profiles as like, Yeah,
but okay. I just find it like, because the thing is, if someone from Ukraine is selling, I mean, obviously they have to make money somehow to get the parts to make stuff for the oh my God, this is
This goes deep.
Yeah.
This goes deep. It takes what is just a simple-ish unaliving case where a kid is accused of unaliving his parents, which seems to be pretty common these days, and turns it into an international event.
Yeah.
I wonder if the president's been briefed about this.
Probably already has. He's probably turned around and said, well, you guys are dealing with it. You carry on dealing with it.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, after everything that happened with that meeting between Trump and Zelensky, I don't know. I'm not going to get involved in this until I actually see the whole picture.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole for sure. But a lot of these things that you and I look at are rabbit holes. They open up. They answer most. Yes, this is not just a local homicide case, but an international conspiracy. There's the
only thing, if it's the only problem you're going to have is to prove that the person on the other side, who's in Ukraine, for example, knowingly and willingly tried to support a radical right-wing party, if we should put it that way. And if they did, then fine. But if they didn't, if they're just someone online selling parts for drones, and they're unwillingly not understanding or not realizing what's happening, then is this being thrown under the microscope and blown out of proportion, out of context?
And that is a rabbit hole that we will never find out the answer to.
Yeah.
So, but we will pick this up tomorrow. And on that note, y'all have a great day. I have to get going. I have laundry to do because y'all saw me throw it in the washer and the dryer. So I have to switch it over. I got the gym to get to. I got to get the little one lunch. Not necessarily in that order, but mama got mama stuff to do.
Yep.
Y'all have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. If there is any major updates on anything, I will let you guys know. Have a great day. I love you. And remember, if you can't laugh at yourself and dark humor, and stop living in an all or nothing world. Moral of the story, critical thinking skills are everything.
And to make yourself happy, just walk into the bathroom, look in the mirror, turn the light on, and blow yourself a kiss, and then walk back out, and you'll feel happy. Trust me.
I do positive affirmations with the little every day. Are you smart? Yes. Are you a hard worker? Yes. Are you beautiful? Yes. Can you do anything that you want to do if you work hard enough? Yes. And every day. That's what we started off on a positive note every day.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, I'm glad that you do that. Makes me happy that you guys are happy. Everyone's happy. That's good. Remember, guys, hate takes more energy than being happy. Right? Smiling takes less muscles than it does to frown. So
Hate
remember
corrodes the container it's stored in.
Say what?
Hate corrodes the container it's stored in.
Oh yes, and also hate's not for sale. I mean, do you know how much energy you can put into building a model or go swimming or riding a bike and just sitting on your couch hating someone?
Hey, listen, this is another rabbit hole that we can go down on. we will have a conversation where we just have a hangout and we can talk about all this stuff without having to like read a document or whatever, just a chill stream. But that is for another day.
That'll be Jesus Christ, that'll be a stream where even I will take a parachute with me.
There has to be an investigative reason for the release of this document. Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, don't you? Like,
yeah, that's true, Jeff. That's true.
All right, I've said bye like 4 times now. I really, really, really gotta go.
Right, okay. Well, I'm gonna shoot. I'm not gonna hang back. I will hang back. Guys, have a fantastic Sunday, and you know
Monday.
What?
Monday.
It's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
What happened to Sunday?
It was Easter. I talked to you for an hour and a half yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but what? Oh my God, someone stole my day. Someone stole a day. I want it back.
On that note, it is Monday. Have a great Monday, everybody, and bye.
Yeah, bye.